Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Travel with Rick. I'm your host, Rick Howard, and want to welcome you to our weekly video blog dedicated to the most magical places on Earth. On this week's show, we're going to wrap up our adventure by Disney to Wyoming, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Leslie. Hi, Leslie.
Hey.
And we're talking about our Quest for the West vacation this year. We've already had 3 episodes up on that, and this one we found we were only planning on doing 3 episodes, and then we found at the end that we just had a lot of footage that we weren't able to show in the other episodes. So we wanted to kind of do like a little montage for you guys. So it was an awesome vacation, right?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
So to kind of set up this first segment then, we flew into Jackson Hole, and we're going to show you around the city of Jackson, Wyoming a bit. It's a quaint little town, right?
Cute little western town. I guess it's western, right?
I guess
call
so.
that, like,
Sure,
western
Wyoming,
town?
it's western.
Yeah.
They have a stagecoach that runs around town. I think
Yeah,
that'd be kind of western. You
yeah,
know,
and they have the
gunfight
shootout.
every night.
Yeah.
Every night on the streets of Jackson Hole at 6 o'clock, and they have a rodeo there.
Oh yeah.
On certain nights, I think
Certain
Wednesdays and Saturday
nights.
nights they have a rodeo there.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that qualifies. I think gunfights and rodeos and you know, and Harrison Ford lives there. You know, he's in a movie now, Cowboys and Aliens.
There we go. It makes it official.
I think it's a western town. So also while we were in Jackson, we went to the Jackson Playhouse, and there were cowboys and saloon girls there.
Yeah, they were.
And that was kind of entertaining. Has been around for a long time. So you're going to hear from the proprietress of the Jackson Playhouse, and kind of think in Disney terms, hoop-de-doo review. It's a little bit like that. So it's we had lunch with entertainment, similar to the hoop-de-doo review, right?
Yeah, good analogy.
Yeah. And so then from there, we stayed there 2 nights at the Wart Hotel, and then from there we went on up into Yellowstone. But we first stopped off at Jenny Lake and took a boat ride across the lake. And then took a hike up to Hidden Falls.
Hidden Falls, yeah.
And that was the place where our teenagers, Sarah and Andrew, first saw snow. Well, all of us first saw snow on this trip, but our kids have never seen snow before. We went to Wyoming this year. So there were snowball fights, I'll just say that. And there were a lot of kids playing in the snow. That was kind of cool. So anyway, come on, let's look around Jackson and go up to Jenny Lake and Hidden Falls. Come on.
Welcome to the Jackson Hole Playhouse. It is a pleasure to share this building with you, and especially to share it with Disney. the majestic Disney tour here to the Rocky Mountains. And we want to thank our Disney guides. They have always been so accommodating. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
My name is Vicki Garnick. I'm the proprietress of this theater, and I'm a new proprietress. I've only been here 32 years. But this building is quite old. This building began in 1906 as a livery stable. It was merely a lean-to. In 1916, it got a metal roof and metal sides. And the two pictures underneath the elk over there, you'll see that's 1922, and another one was 1928-ish. In those days, right where that elk is, were big garage doors or barn doors that opened up, so they drove the stagecoach from Yellowstone right through here, and they delivered them in the auditorium, which is now what we use as the auditorium. That was in 1916.
See them tumbling down.
Frank is actually an amazing driver, and one of the unknown facts about Wyoming is that you can actually be legally blind to drive here, and so Frank is legally blind. Worry not, when he's not quite sure where he's going, he just rides on that line and drives by braille. So if it gets a little bumpy, don't worry, he knows exactly what's going on. So anyway, yes, so we are going to be going into Teton National Park. We're going to be spending the first part of our day in there. Geyser Basin, and if you look at this thermal feature right here, what do you think this would be? If you had to choose between a mud pot, a fumarole, a geyser, or a hot spring. It's funny I made that one last. So yeah, so this is a hot spring. What would make this a geyser is if somewhere underneath the ground in its plumbing, something got stopped up there and kind of restricted its ability to kind of come up through the surface of the earth, then it would become a geyser. But because it's nice and free-flowing and able to kind of create these beautiful pools, this is what's considered a hot spring. I had a question about, wow, is that water hot? What do you think? Looks pretty hot. It looks pretty hot. And all the different hot springs actually are different temperatures, and some of the things that you can look at to kind of decide, you know, I wonder how hot or cold that might be, is if you look at the different colors around the edges. The only things that can really exist in these pools are microorganisms that are called thermophiles. Fish can't live in it, people can't live in it. If an animal were to accidentally trip and fall into it, he would probably struggle to get out, but probably wouldn't be able to make it out very easily. So these are very, very, very hot pools.
out Jackson Hole, then we headed on up higher. Jackson Hole we found is around 6,000, 6,500, somewhere in there.
Yes.
Yeah. So then we headed on up higher into elevations, and we found that even in June, believe it or not, we're from Florida, so we have no idea about these things, but even in June, the higher you go up in elevation, the more snow you find. So we thought there was a lot of snow around Jenny Lake and Hidden Falls, but as we went on up into Yellowstone, we saw lots more. And we saw some other cool stuff, right?
Yes, we did. We saw wildlife.
Wildlife and thermal features.
And thermal features,
That's kind of what I was alluding to. But you know, of course, in Yellowstone, the biggest thing there that most people are familiar with is Old Faithful, of course, and we stayed at the Snow Lodge in Yellowstone, which also is the Old Faithful Inn, which the Wilderness Lodge is patterned after, and we had dinner there one night. That was really, really nice. But we have a guide who's going to tell you all about the thermal features. In this case, the geyser. A geyser is one of the thermal features there, along with hot springs and mud pots and fumaroles. Fumaroles, whatever, however you say that. But anyway, so Rose is going to tell you all about how geysers work and show you around Old Faithful and some of the other areas around Yellowstone. So I guess we should just cut to Rose and let Rose tell you all about some of the thermal features, particularly the geysers in Yellowstone Park. Come on.
But we actually are on that super volcano that I was talking about earlier. We do have two hot spots in the park. One is very near here. It's called Mallard Lake, and it's back behind the lodge area there. And they watch it because the lava flow or the magma is within 3 feet, I always say 3 feet, 3 miles of the Earth's surface. And it comes up, and they watch it. And if it gets to rising too much, then they really start, you know, making sure everything's going to be all right around here, because they think that and Sour Creek, which is over in the Hayden Valley, are the two places, if we have a lava flow again, those will be the places. But now, just in the last year or two, they've watched both of them, and they've kind of subsided. So it's, you know, we're living on this hot magma here, and that's what produces the heat, which produces all these thermal features. Now, there are 4 things you have to have thermal features. You have to have heat. Boy, do we have it. You have to have water. Man, we got it this year. What a year. We've had more snow than they've had in 25 years just about. Lots of water. And you have to have the plumbing. And the earthquakes here have provided that plumbing. They're cracks and fissures in the earth where water and steam are heated and brought up. And that gives us 4 different kinds of features. Old Faithful is one of those kind of features. You know what that is? Geyser. A geyser, exactly. And a geyser is different in that it has to have a constriction. That pressure of that heated water is pushing up and making hot bubbles. And those hot bubbles come up underneath that water. And you'll see some steam come up, and then you'll see a little water come up, and then after a while, it gets so hot that it pushes that water up through that constriction, and it goes straight up. Now, if we have a pool, what does that tell you? Is there a constriction? Exactly. It's a hot spring. But there's no constriction. That water can be heated and just come to the surface, cool, and go back down. It looks like a lovely pool, but don't be shocked when you find out that it could be boiling, or it could be very acidic. Our hot pools here, we have some that have a 1.1 pH. So, you know, you don't dare get near them. So just make sure as we walk around today that everyone stays on the boardwalk. Small kids, you hold on to, because this is a place to enjoy and to be beautiful, and we don't want anything bad to happen. All right, the other 2 thermal features that we have, besides the hot spring and the geyser, are mud pots. We'll see those this afternoon. We'll go to fountain paint pots. They are amazing. And I will talk more in detail about those when we're there. But they produce sulfuric acid. They smell wonderful, just like rotten eggs. Makes you hungry every time you're there. And then the last one is the hottest. It is a steam vent, and basically there's less water being heated, and it bursts into steam before it comes up. So, you know everything now. Alrighty. My name is Rose. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I was a middle school teacher for 20 years. I've worked for a textbook company the last 10. My husband just retired from teaching biology last year, and we're here living the dream.
After leaving Yellowstone and the Old Faithful Lodge and the Snow Lodge was actually the one we stayed, which was a little bit more modern of the two. I think they said that the Old Faithful Inn had shared bathrooms or something.
Yeah, there were some areas that...
The Howard family doesn't do shared bathrooms, and neither does ABD, thank goodness. So you know, that was nice. And it was really nice accommodations. And but speaking of nice accommodations, this next section you guys are really going to love. We fell in love with the last stop on our stay, which was the Brooks Lake Lodge, right? Wasn't it just fantastic? It was
fantastic. My gosh. That was just fantastic place.
Yeah, just a really great place, really great place to be. So big thumbs up for Adam and his whole team. They were just so warm and friendly and accommodating, welcoming. When we checked in, you know, they took each family. There's a main building, and then there's cabins around too. So some families stayed in the main building, some stayed in cabins. So in each case, there was a lodge, I'll say cast member, staff person that took each family and showed them their accommodations and got them settled in. Adam took us. We had one of the cabins, so we walked out of the main building and kind of up a big snowy hill. Which, you know, was amazing. When we got there, there were still 10-foot high snowdrifts there.
Yeah, there was a lot of snow. They drove us up from the main highway up to the lodge, which was about
5-7 miles.
Yeah, that they had to drive us up in a separate vehicles that were 4-wheel drive vans.
Yeah,
to get us up past the snow and the turns.
Because our motor coach could not make the trek, so we unloaded all of us and all of our luggage and trekked it up. When we stopped there and they started taking everything off, we were kind of wondering if we were going to have to take horses up or something. It was really that rustic. But just a really great place to stay.
Lovely.
And again, Adam and his staff were just so accommodating. We were the first tour of the season, or the
Yeah.
first guests of the season. So they just opened everything up for us.
And let's also mention that we are, the Adventures by Disney people are the only guests staying there during this time.
That makes it really, really nice because it is a small lodge. I think it only holds like 35 or 40 people max, and with the cabins in the main building. So when Disney is there, there are no other guests. So Disney books it for those 2 nights that you stay there on the Quest for the West. So that made it really nice. And we had the whole place to ourselves. So it was just us and the cast that was there, the staff members, and you get to know kind of everyone there, the wranglers and the people that are there, the fishing guides, and the other wranglers that work with Skinner to take you out on the trails, and the ones that do the snowmobiling or the fly fishing or whatever. There's several staff people there that help drive around, and the chef and her team, they were just awesome. So all your meals are included, obviously. We had a great breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day there.
Every day.
Just fantastic. So let's give you another look around Brooks Lake Lodge. I know in episode whatever it was, a couple of episodes ago, we interviewed Adam, who's the general manager, and we gave you a brief look around, but here's a better look around Brooks Lake Lodge. Wow, so you really like Brooks Lake Lodge, right?
I did. I just fell in love with that place. I kind of wanted to get a cowboy hat and,
And some of those boots.
and be a cowgirl for a weekend.
Yeah. She actually did want to buy a cowboy hat in Jackson Hole, and our kids talked her out of it. They said, "Mom, you'll never wear it anywhere else." And you wanted one. You did. You would have fit right in when we got to Brooks Lake.
Yeah.
So you liked it so much, we're planning another trip there, right?
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
Leslie is consumed right now with looking at boots and jackets and all this warming stuff. Our anniversary is in February, and she's planning a trip back for us to Brooks Lake Lodge. Not an adventure by Disney, but we're just going to fly into Jackson Hole, go up to Brooks Lake, spend a couple days at the Wart, and then head on up back up to Brooks Lake Lodge and do snowmobiling up there in February. So we're expecting really, really cold weather for this trip. She's expecting. I'm expecting to stay in. Yeah, I'm from Florida. I don't do snow. But I'm sure maybe we'll have some snowmobiling stuff to show you.
Absolutely.
Maybe in March, if we thaw out by March or April. If we make it back, we'll have some snowmobiling
and
stuff to show you.
Ice fishing.
Ice fishing.
Want to do that? Yeah.
And snowshoeing.
Snowshoeing. Yeah, they offer that. They offer so many winter activities.
Yeah, cross country skiing.
Yeah, they do that as well. Whatever that's about.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you've enjoyed spending a little bit of time with us on our Adventure by Disney. We just love them, right?
Oh,
they're fantastic.
Absolutely, great family vacation.
Yeah.
I mean, top of the line.
It will change the way that you look at doing family vacations, or the way that you look at doing adventure vacations, or the way you look at travel. It just changed the way we plan vacations.
Absolutely.
Now. We think about Adventures by Disney. We're already starting to talk about our one for 2012. And just remember, speaking of 2012, we're actually planning a Backstage Magic for June for you guys. So we're going to invite some Travel with Rick friends with us to go to Backstage Magic. We'll be telling you more about that as the year goes along. Even as we get ready to head to D23, we're going to be doing some filming and do a couple little, do some shots for at D23 for our Backstage Magic trip, which is basically Southern California, Disneyland, and the studios. So if you're a Disney file, if you're a Disney nut like we are, that's the perfect Adventure by Disney for you, because you get to see so much more behind the scenes stuff from the studios, from Walt's life, from the Walt's Vault. Basically, they open up the studios, and you get a lot of backstage access that normal guests, regular guests, don't get. So we'll be telling you more about that as the year goes on when we get our dates nailed down, but we're shooting to do that in June, a Backstage Magic trip. And we're going, as I said, we're going to be going back to Brooks Lake Lodge in February, so we'll be telling you about that. So that brings us to our question of the week. We told you we're planning a winter vacation. This is new for me, because usually in the wintertime I like to go to warm places. So we don't do cold places. So my question for you is, if you take winter vacations, where's your favorite cold, or maybe you're like me, it's a warm place, maybe it's St. Croix, but where's your favorite winter place to vacation? What do you like to do in the wintertime for activities for your family? Leave us a comment below. You guys know I love hearing from you. Check us out on Facebook, check us out on Twitter, on YouTube, and on iTunes. All these new places that we're slowly moving all of our videos over to YouTube. Our new ones definitely each week are coming onto YouTube. So give us some ratings over on YouTube and iTunes, and check us out on Facebook.com/travelwithrick. All of it's linked up here. So you guys know all where we're at. We love meeting you in all these cool places, and we love taking you to all these cool places as well. Great having you on the show, honey.
Oh, it's nice being here. Thank you.
All right, so it's great having you guys on the show also, and we look forward to having you right back here on another episode real soon. So long, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.